You know, that first check from a friend or a family member, it can feel like an absolute lifeline. But if you're not careful, it can also become a huge anchor that sinks your startup before it even gets a chance to set sail. So today, we're going to break down how to accept that crucial early support the right way, protecting both your relationships and your company's future.
So, picture this. You're pouring your heart and soul into your startup, and your best friend, who's seen the all-nighters and the hustle from day one, offers you $10,000 to help keep the dream alive. I mean, that's an amazing vote of confidence, right? But your answer to this simple offer, well, it has some really huge consequences.
Because a well-intentioned yes today can create a tangled mess of legal problems that will absolutely scare away professional investors tomorrow. The real question isn't if you should take their support, but how you can do it without messing everything up.
Yeah, this is what a lot of founders call the friends and family trap. That first check feels like a lifesaver, but honestly, it's packed with hidden dangers. It really is a classic double-edged sword.
Okay, so here's the absolute core of the issue. Professional investors, they scrutinize your business plan, your market, your traction, but your friends and family, they're investing in you. They trust your character way more than your financial projections. And while that's wonderful, it also means they probably don't understand the real risks involved.
And this creates this whole cocktail of pressures, right? You're terrified of losing the money of people you love. You really don't want to ruin Thanksgiving dinner for the next decade. And you certainly don't want to create a bunch of legal headaches. But at the same time, you desperately need that capital. It's a tough spot to be in for sure.
So, where does all this pressure usually lead? Well, it often leads to the single biggest mistake that founders make: giving away equity, a piece of the company, way too early. This one move can permanently damage your company's foundation, what we call the capitalization table, or cap table for short.
So, what exactly is a cap table? Well, put simply, it's the official record of who owns what in your company. You can think of it like the financial blueprint. When you go to raise money from VCs, one of the very first things they're going to ask for is your cap table. And trust me, they will study it very, very carefully. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got a clean cap table. Simple, founder-controlled, easy for an investor to get. But on the right, a messy one. You've got small pieces owned by your uncle, your roommate, your cousin, and who knows who else. That is a giant red flag. An investor looks at that and they don't see a company. They see future headaches.
And look, the consequences here are really, really severe. A messy cap table isn't just some small inconvenience. It can force you into a costly, time-consuming legal cleanup. Or worse, it can make a potential investor look at your deal and just walk away completely. They just don't want the hassle.
Okay, so that is the problem. But don't worry, there is a fantastic, founder-friendly solution. The key here is to accept the money now, but push that conversation about specific equity percentages until later.
And the hero of our story is a little thing called a SAFE. It stands for Simple Agreement for Future Equity. It's basically a simple contract that says, hey, thank you for this money now. In return, you will get equity in the company later when we do a proper professional funding round.
And the process is just beautiful in its simplicity. 1, your investor gives you the cash. 2, you give them a signed safe note. It's usually a pretty standard, simple contract. 3, their money turns into company stock down the road at the same terms as the professional investors. And the most important part, step 4, your cap table stays perfectly clean for now.
What this does, and this is so important, is it professionalizes the whole deal from day one. It sends a signal to your friends and family and to your future investors that you're serious. You're not just playing around here. You're building a real company with a real structure.
All right, so having the right legal tool is one thing, but that's only half the battle. You also have to have the right conversation. And this is all about honesty, clarity, and getting everything down on paper.
Look, your friends and family, they're probably not going to ask the hard questions. So you have to be the one to bring them up. You have to be brutally honest about the risks. Tell them, hey, most startups fail. Tell them their investment could go to zero. It could be years, if ever, before they see a return. But also tell them that their belief in you means the absolute world, no matter what happens. That's what protects the relationship.
And just as important, you have to set some really clear rules of engagement. This investment doesn't make them a co-founder. They don't get a vote on company decisions. You're not going to be sending them weekly progress reports. They are valued early backers, not day-to-day business partners. Getting this stuff clear up front saves you from a world of awkwardness down the road.
I know it's tempting, especially with family, to just shake hands on it. But you got to remember that old saying, a verbal agreement isn't worth the paper it's not written on. Proper documentation, like that safe note, protects everyone. It protects you, and it protects their investment by making it official.
So what's the payoff for doing all this the right way? Well, that early check, which could have been a huge liability, actually transforms into a powerful asset when you go to raise your next round of funding.
Just think about it from a VC's perspective for a second. They love to see founders who can convince people to believe in them. When it's documented correctly, that first friends and family check isn't a sign of desperation. It's a powerful signal of momentum. It tells a story that you have the conviction to rally support around your vision.
I mean, can you imagine walking into a VC meeting and being able to say, I've already raised $50,000 from the people who know me best? That is incredibly powerful. It shows you got skin in the game, it shows you can execute, it shows the people closest to you are willing to bet on you. That's a story investors love to hear.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Money comes and goes. You can always raise more money, but equity, once you give it away, it's gone. Equity is forever. You have to use it wisely.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. That first check from a loved one, it isn't just cash. It's the very first brick you're laying in your company's foundation. So is your foundation being built to last?